Into the Spider-Verse. So I was saying that it was a very successful, I mean, it was like okay successful movie because it's 90 million in terms of a budget, and then it made 375 million. So that's amazing, but it's not a big deal compared to the other movies. Now, what I meant to say with that is that this movie is considered to be the best Spider-Man movie to date. It's really amazing, and it does feel like Spider-Man movie. The storyline itself also feels like Spider-Man, although I would prefer like only original Peter Parker story, not to bring 500 Spider-Mans all at once, but it was made in such an amazing, correct way that it reminded me of the old animation. So Sony did prove that they can do a, you know, Spider-Man movie like it should be done, but it was just in animation format. Now again, let's go back to the reason that this is happening. And again, I really thought that it's going to be Marvel's fault. I mean, not Marvel, but Sony's fault if something else goes wrong. And, a month ago they were saying, like, oh, if this movie does not make a million, not a million, of course, a billion, Sony could just take off and take their character back, they could just take Spider Man. But it did reach a billion, which meant that everything's fine and Sony will not have any reason to pull back. And all of a sudden, we're hearing that Disney actually wanted 50%. And are they greedy? Yeah, I mean, for me, of course, every business is business, movie business is a business. But they are already making billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, and no other studio can touch them basically. I mean, the other studios also have, of course, successful movies that also reach a billion, but it's not as often, and there are not as many movies as Disney now has, especially when they bought Fox. Now they have, like, they try to be like a BO and, BO and all, you know how it is. Hey, Betty! Ah, hi, Michael. Well, I was just continuing from where I left off, and that's pretty much it. And I'm happy that Betty is here. Hi, I haven't seen you for like ages. So, yeah, absolutely good evening. Yeah, guys, so for me, although, yeah, business is business, for Disney to come out all of a sudden and be like, shut up and give me money, it's like they're on the place. It's ridiculous to me. I mean, at least they could have agreed upon 2030. I'm pretty sure that some negotiations were going on, as far as we understood. And uh, they finished quickly because I just didn't expect that from like 3 hours, like in the morning. I mean, 3 hours after I heard it around the morning time. After that, it's going to be like, that was that. We don't have Spider-Man anymore in the MCU. And I'm like, oh, what? Yeah, it is just ridiculous because they thought that, oh, we are so good at Spider-Man and you know nothing. And well, Sony did do a lot of movies. Yeah, no, not all of them were good, especially those again with Andrew Garfield. But they do have a lot of experience on that. They did learn. I mean, they did actually, I think, came out with some kind of a statement that they did learn from Kevin Feige. So they know what to do, but how are they going to do it on their own? Everything has to be rearranged. I don't know how that's gonna happen. Yeah. So unless they cut some kind of a deal till the end of the final movie, because they do have to film that. And again, this brings me to the question: how are they even going to finish the next movie? How? Like, imagine the last few minutes of the movie, Spider-Man is like, I have an idea. I'm just gonna jump from a rock that is enough high to kill me. I'm not going to try to save myself. And the next Spider-Man movie is just going to be with, the other Spider-Man, with Miles Morales, and that's gonna be it. Uh, well, of course, I mean, Disney is so rich that this is not the problem, but they decide to be more rich and more greedy. But if they don't have Spider-Man now, well, they didn't get a lot of money from Spider-Man in the first place, but they did get some, and now they're not going to get anything. So, anything, because they don't own the rights to Spider-Man at all when it comes to movies, zero. And now they're going to have nothing. So, what? What are they thinking? And Sony is not dependent. I mean, they thought that Sony is that depending on Marvel. And yeah, I mean, Marvel did do Spider-Man. I mean, did make Spider-Man more successful than he was. But now that Sony has learned from their animation, Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse, they learn from what they could have learned from Kevin Feige. Although again, I don't think that's I mean, not that I don't think, but it's definitely not the best portrayal of Spider-Man. At all, the best is in the video game, the current PlayStation game, and of course the old 90s animations. But they were going there. That was I was saying in the first part of the stream, that they were going there, especially in what we saw. You can tell from what we saw from the last few minutes so far from Far From Home and the end credit scenes. But now I don't know what we're going to see. Yeah, what if? Hey Fizan. Yeah, again, that is definitely the best Spider-Man movie. That, just made everything feel like Spider-Man, which none of the MCU movies ever done. None of the live-action Spider-Man movies feel like true Spider-Man, like the animations were, like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Man is. The closest thing that we ever got were the Spider-Man movies from Sam Raimi, the first ones. They really felt like Spider-Man, but again, Tobey Maguire's portrayal of Spider-Man, how he looks like, he just doesn't look like the character at all. He's the guy from the back of the classroom with glasses, but Spider-Man was always a good-looking guy. He was never the whiny little thing that Tobey Maguire made him to be. But I really felt that he was Spider-Man. Although all those things that I just said that I don't like, and they were slow-paced. Only from time to time we got some cool scenes with Spider-Man. Most of the time we're just talking, walking and staring, and Aunt May being so old and so sad. So that was just too sad and but at least, I mean, too slow, but at least overall they had heart and they were more substantial in terms of real, genuine emotion and portrayal of Spider-Man than the movies that we got with Andrew Garfield and even Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Tom Holland is the most handsome Spider-Man. That is true. Yeah, as they can get, but now they can't get any control. Maybe when they sit down, relax, and think about what they've done, Disney, that is, they're going to really think long and hard and maybe present some kind of a counter offer to to Sony, be like, okay guys, we agree to the 5% still. Can we please just make more Spider-Man movies, because, well, we have nothing now. But Sony can always say like, oh, I don't need you, you know? And they, Sony have Morbius coming, Craven the Hunter. I'm starting to forget all those names. Yeah, Craven the Hunter, wow, and I knew him so well back then from the animations. He is something. He's a very interesting guy. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm just sleepy. Has to be this very muscular guy that basically killed all the animals that he could kill. Yeah, he's very interesting. So, Morbius, I'm very interested in him because, well, he was great. I just remember him again from the animations. He was so interesting character. And Jared Leto is going to play him, and he's great. So yeah, I'm very excited about Morbius and more Venom. I really love how they made Venom, how they portrayed Venom. He was so interesting, damn it. And how he was talking to himself. I mean, Eddie Brock was talking to Venom. That was exactly what I would imagine Venom be like. Sorry, in live action. Ah. Well, how can he be canon now? Sorry about that. Oh gosh. How he can be big canon? I mean, if they don't change things, I mean, how can he even be anything now? But that's the other problem with Tony again, like I said, that Tony was just too big of a part of his growing up, where Spider-Man usually is self-sufficient. So that is what I don't like, that Tony was such a father figure when he never was in the comic books. They're always like separate. So this is something that they had to make for the movie so they can incorporate Spider-Man into already set up, Marvel Universe with Thor and everyone else. So I understand where they're coming from. It's just that it's not actually Spider-Man. It's not at all actually Spider-Man what he is. I'm not sure, Michael, because Sony has all the cards. Marvel and Disney can't do anything to take Spider-Man fully as a character. They lost him long time ago. He was sold long time ago. Fully, the rights are fully to Sony. Like, period. Spider-Girl movie. She's not that popular though. Yeah, right? Yeah, Betty, yeah. Yeah, exactly what they're going to say. Well, we literally just wanted more money. And Sony was like, such a bitches. They didn't want to give so much money to us. Ah, and then big gun. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Evil. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I just imagine Mickey Mouse be like, oh, ha 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 ha, like, whoa, ha 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 ha. They lost, so there's nothing funny about being so greedy that they just broke one of the best match made in heaven, you know, stuff ever. Although, again, there's much to be desired about Spider-Man as a character in the MCU. He must be a lot more developed, but again, that was happening, I feel, and now we can see it. Yeah. So that is it, guys. I mean, I said everything that I possibly could say in the first part of the stream, And then this one, and it's a huge bummer, and it's going to be super awkward to observe what is next and what's going to follow now after this. We just don't know. I'm pretty sure that now they have their pennies in a bunch. Everybody like, huh, and Disney's like, and they're all like so like old greedy men, arguing about dominoes. But then when reality starts to set in, they're going to be like, okay guys, now write me a script that makes sense. And the the script writers are going to be like, we're not sure how to make Spider-Man now, because he was so involved with Tony, and now there's no Tony, and we can't even say Iron Man this, and what we're going to do, and Sony be like, well, I don't know, but you think of something, and they're going to be like, okay, let's just kill Peter Parker, I just don't know. End of the movie. Yeah, how they're going to explain that Spider-Man is missing from the Avengers? Well, we did see all of the things that he did in the MCU, but if they're going to delete him, everything is going to be like not matter at all, and that's even bigger bummer. Yeah, exactly. I actually was referring to those yeah, those old guys from the Muppets that are like, I want this station. No, I want this station. No, I want this station. It's exactly like this. So yeah, guys, I think it's a bummer. I think it's stupid. It's extremely stupid, and they have to think about how people feel and what they want to see. And now that people are going to know that Spider-Man is going to be only in Sony and not going to be connected to the Marvel characters, they're going to be like, okay, but at least they're going to be able to put him with Venom, with Carnage, where they're going to be able to put him with Carnage anyway, but with Morbius, with Kraven the Hunter. I think they're owning all the major Spider-Man villains anyway. So yeah, that's it. And just companies argue, sometimes we win from that, sometimes we lose. And if Disney wants to become a monopoly, they're going to lose, because they're going to do whatever they freaking want. If they decide to buy off all the movie companies and they're the only company left in the world, that's going to be a complete disaster. And there's not going to be any competition, and they're only going to do things one way. So Disney just turning into this evil giant that thinks that they're the best, but they're actually not really. And when it comes to Kevin Feige and how he does things, I don't really think that what he is built, yeah, he's built something that nobody else was able to build. There was never such franchise that was going for so long, 10 years, that was able to do movies with so many characters and do them mostly successfully. I do think that Iron Man 3 is one of the worst movies that I ever seen of a superhero movie. It was such a disappointment, but I mean, not everything that they do is super awesome. Most of the movies of Marvel that, especially after Iron Man 3 happened, just mimic a real emotion and genuine feelings basically. And I can't watch them twice. I don't want to watch them twice. They're so artificial to me. They feel like fast food. unfortunately. And yeah, Endgame was great. I really love it. I really love Endgame. Really do. Doctor Strange, I really love it. Captain Marvel, actually, I really love it. But here and there's some moments, some scenes, some decisions about the characters and their stories that really make everything very fake sometimes, and they try to really hard to present it as genuine, but for me it's just not. So not everything that Kevin Feige is considered by everybody to be perfect and awesome. On the opposite, what DC are doing with their movies, where somebody think that they're not the best. Um, like for instance, more and more people discover that Man of Steel is just a great Superman movie, but it took them years to figure that out. So it was ahead of its time for what it was and how I wanted to present how Superman is going to be like if he's actually in our world today, with people how they are today, how they think, how the world works. He's not definitely not going to be flowers and rainbows and throwing kittens all over the place and bunnies, all of that jazz. So, I mean, there's a lot of aspects of, making superheroes from comic book pages to the big screen is not easy, but I do think that there could be done in the way that we saw in the Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse that can portray the best and real emotion, really the genuine, the real substance, the soul, the heart of it. How the Spider-Man game did it, it just could be done, but Kevin Feige just does things too formulaic to appeal to the broader audience, and some people do feel that their intelligence is being uh, basically played with and tried to be cheated on, so to say. So there's that too. I definitely don't feel that it's perfect. But now maybe this is for the better. I mean, maybe, we don't know, but maybe, because Disney does need to learn a valuable lesson, and if Sony could make a successful Spider-Man movie that do manage to gross 1 billion, they just going to prove a point, and maybe Disney is going to learn. Okay, just finishing with your comments. My favorite Marvel movie, I don't know. Maybe Endgame. Hmm. Yeah, Rhino, yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for Venom. Well, if we don't have competition, we will not have anything good. It's going to be like, oh, whatever I say, go, When there's nobody to challenge them, there's not going to be any improvements, any development, real development of any kind. Uh-huh, okay, great. Thank you, Ivy. Yeah, but if they're just going to be too self-centered, and they're not going to be able to see the error of their ways, which eventually is going to be attacked because of the greed that is gonna spawn from their actions and just being a monopoly. Yeah, Tilda Swinton is just freaking amazing. She cannot be not amazing. She's just really awesome. Yeah, she's so much more interesting than most of the characters, by the way. Yeah, it had Doctor Strange had so much more than just, they tried to explore, deeper topics. It really was great, guys. So there's something that is great that they're switching directors as well, because each and every director can sprinkle its own influence and just give its own meanings and substances. So yeah, from that way it's really great. But that is it, guys. Really, I have to go. Thank you very much for watching. We can further discuss this in the comments. If you have something to add, you can always comment down below and let me know. And have a great Thursday, guys. Tomorrow, actually, I have to join forces with my colleague from Superheroes Bulgaria, Kirill, and we can make a discussion about 10 superheroes that you may forgot were on TV shows or something like that. I also have a Bulgarian video that I'm trying to do for this. It's basically Kirill's article in the site Superheroes Bulgaria, and it's going to be very good if I manage to edit that. But for the English version, we think to just make a live discussion. It's going to be very interesting, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to also put his 2 cents into this Spider-Man, Sony and Disney drama. So yeah, guys, that is it. Have a great night, great Thursday for you, Ivy. Great Friday, because Thursday is Friday for you. So that's so awesome. And hopefully see you tomorrow, guys. Bye and take care. Sleep well.